everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be attempting to mood read. So on the whole, I'm not a mood reader. I just kind of read through my books in like a specific order. But it's an order I decide, so it does kind of sound like mood reading, but I don't really just read like on a whim. I kind of set books in my mind that I know I'm going to read. I always know a couple of books ahead what I'm going to be reading. And since starting this channel and doing my read and release series where I read every book on my physical TBR, I've been a little bit stricter about what I'm reading because I'm trying to do like themed videos and fun videos. I'm trying to, think of new ways and creative ways to share my book thoughts. So it's been a little bit constricting, and I have found myself getting a little bit burnt out because of it, particularly with author videos, because I do these videos where I read all of the books by a certain author, and unfortunately it means if I love that author, then I've just burnt through their like all their work. But as well, it just kind of gets a little bit monotonous. And especially this year, I've been really excited to try new genres, and I've also been trying to get through my backlog of my TBR, my physical TBR. So it's been a little bit tricky, but I thought I would kind of free myself today and let myself read whatever I wanted. So I have really enjoyed it. It's been a nice little break. And yeah, I've been also starting a lot of series, which I shouldn't have been, but in my videos, and wanting to continue them because I'm usually someone that just, especially fantasy, reads 1 through 8 immediately after each other. So it's been weird not doing that. But yeah, I've been able to do a little bit of that this video. So let's get into the books I read. So the first book I read was Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I gave this 3 stars. This book is about a couple who are engaged, and then on their like bachelor party, the husband, the groom, gets together with his girl best friend of like his whole life, who also had a partner, and he basically gives his like ex-fiance a week to move out. So she moves in with the girl best friend's boyfriend, and then they start fake dating to make the other two jealous. You can't say it's not romance tropes, but it was actually really enjoyable. So I am nothing if not a romance hater. I wish I liked romance, but I don't like reading it. I haven't really enjoyed it. The only one I kind of liked was Ali Hazelwood's Love Theoretically, which I read a couple years ago. Oh no, or The Love Hypothesis. It's one of those. It's the blue one. That one, I'll put it up. I really enjoyed that book, but I haven't picked up anything from her since. But I ended up reading an Emily Henry earlier this year and loved it. It was a lot of fun. It's light, it's still enjoyable, you're still getting depth from the characters, and I didn't find it too tropey. And so I was excited to pick up this one. I really loved the main character. She was a lot of fun. She was going through a lot because she had moved to this area for the ex-fiance and she was just ready to leave. So it was fun kind of seeing her reclaiming that and learning, you shouldn't center your whole life around one person, no matter how great they are. And her like making her own friends, her like female best friend that she makes is so fun. She's so sassy, and I really love their relationship. But it was a lot of fun kind of seeing her, reclaim this place and her life back from what had been all about this other guy. And then the male love interest is a lot of fun. He's like a very chill guy, kind of surfer vibes, and he was fun. So I really enjoyed them. I will say about 2/3 of the way through, I just kind of got sick of it. I don't know if I just read more than my allotted one romance a year, or if it was just because I was listening to the audiobook. Sometimes I find if I like take too long to read a book, like if it takes me a week to read a book instead of 3 days, I don't enjoy it as much. I don't know, but I think that probably affected my rating a little bit, but I did find it fun and I really did enjoy the premise. So I would highly recommend Emily Henry if you're not a romance reader, because you might actually like it. But I definitely won't be doing an Emily Henry video where I read all her books, but I do thoroughly enjoy them when I do read them. The next book I read was A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the second in the Cursebreakers trilogy, and I gave this 3 stars. So I read the first one of these, I think it was A Curse So Dark and Lonely, I'm going to say, earlier this year, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected for a YA fantasy. We follow Harper, who gets taken from Washington, D.C. and plopped into this fantasy realm where she's supposed to break the curse. So it's very much like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I thought it had an interesting spin on it. The world wasn't super developed out, which became much more apparent, but it reminded me a lot of A Court of Thorns and Roses, which, if you don't know, also started off as a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I loved that. I do think, as we know, I am a settings girl. So this one, I think a lot of the stuff I loved about A Court of Thorns and Roses was that the setting was so rich. In this one, it isn't to anywhere near the same degree. But I still enjoyed it. The first one was fun, and it had like a last chapter twist, which I was super excited about and kind of pushed me over the edge to continue reading the series. But because I was a little bit on the fence, I listened to the audiobook. And I do this sometimes where if I don't know if I want to read a book, I listen to the audiobook. But I tend to dislike books that I listen to rather than read. I just don't connect as much. And I think that might have been what happened here. But additionally, no hate, all respect and love. The voice actor for some of these characters was so unbearable. I suppose it's talent that she made it that way. I don't think it was supposed to be though, but it was just like the certain pitch and very squeaky voices just made the characters so unlikable. On top of the fact that they were also a little bit whingy. But yeah, I was just disappointed in this. A lot of the characters in this one just fell apart. A lot of the stuff we liked about them in the first book, the traits and qualities, were just gone. They just turned into different people and shallower people. And that really sucked. They all kind of became archetypes. And then we also didn't really get to follow up on the last minute twist in the last one. We just spent the whole book doing other stuff instead of following the characters that I was interested in, which kind of sucked. Overall, I was just disappointed. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with it. I shouldn't because I have my DNFing series and books goal this year, but we'll see. But yeah, I wasn't a fan. I'm sure other people would enjoy it, but as well, I've read too much fantasy, so it just felt really flat for me. The next book I read was The Marlow Murder Club by Robert Thorogood. This is kind of a Thursday Murder Club ripoff where we have, the elderly gang of people solving a murder or a mystery. But I think this is one of the best ones I've read, and it was still original enough that it didn't immediately remind me of that, which I really liked. So we follow Judith Potts, who is an older woman, and she is very much the crazy lady down the road in the best way possible. But yeah, she's a kooky one. But she overhears her neighbor getting murdered. So naturally, she pushes the police and sticks her nose where it doesn't belong and collects her band of misfits to help her. And is so much fun. I really enjoyed her character. She had so many eccentric qualities. For one, she goes skinny dipping in the Thames every single day. I didn't think that this generation could survive what is breeding in the Thames, but yeah, that was a fun one. And she just wears her poncho with nothing under it and cycles around town. She's just mental. But I love her. She's so much fun. And it was kind of interesting because her whole group is female and the detective they're working with is female, which was just really well done. It wasn't in your face. It felt very natural and they were all fleshed out really nicely. Obviously all of the people she recruits are so much fun and really interesting characters as well. I won't say because it's kind of, you don't know exactly who she's gonna kind of bring into the fold, but I will say the mystery, while it was a really good mystery, it reminded me of something else that I caught it almost immediately. I'll put up a little spoiler thing here and I'm just going to mention it, but if you don't want to see it, just skip ahead. It reminded me so much of Horrible Bosses, which is a Jason Bateman movie. If you haven't seen it, it's very funny. But basically in that, they all kill each other's bosses and then they all have alibis for the murders they have motives for. So it came up pretty early on that, oh, this person has a really strong motive, and then the only person with a motive to kill this person, but they have an alibi. But then this person, it was so obvious to me, and that really kind of took me out of it a bit, unfortunately. But I do think if I hadn't seen the movie, I probably wouldn't have seen it coming. So I did really enjoy it overall, and I didn't detract from it too much. I'm definitely reading it much more because the characters are so much fun rather than I'm looking for a really great mystery. But I do still think if you hadn't seen that, it would be a really enjoyable mystery anyway. I also just love the setting. It's quaint English village, but in the summertime, and it was just so much fun. So I really enjoyed it. It's a series and I will definitely be continuing it. I think I rated this 4 stars. I think if I didn't discover the mystery, it probably would have been 4.5, so maybe I'll bump it up to that. But I definitely really enjoyed it. The last book I read was Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I loved this book. First of all, look at how stunning the cover is. I picked it up from my local coffee shop because they have a drop off a book, grab a book kind of thing, and beautiful blue and gold. I couldn't resist. This is just such an interesting, beautiful book. I'm not going to say too much because I went into it very blind and I loved that, but we are following Piranesi, who is in this mythical house. It kind of reminds me of the Chamber of Secrets. Not the bones bit, but when they're in with the snake, all the water and stuff. So it's just this house with these really big marble hallways are really tall and wide, and then there's all these statues everywhere. And so I think it's the bottom 2 floors of the house are flooded, and so there's fish coming in, and the top 2 floors have birds and they're in the clouds. And so Piranesi, his whole thing, he has journals and he's cataloging everything. He catalogs his days, catalogs the tides, catalogs all the statues, has maps, all this stuff. So he's constantly doing that. His whole purpose, he feels, is to discover the house, and he feels like he is the blessed child of the house, and that's how he honors the house. And then he has one of the person who lives in the house called the Other, hilarious from Piranesi, whose whole thing is he's trying to like obtain this secret knowledge or this deeper knowledge, and so he gets Piranesi to help him because he needs knowledge about the tides or different things of the house, and Piranesi is happy to help, but he doesn't really understand why the other has his quest, and the other doesn't understand why Piranesi has like their quest, and doesn't understand the kind of calling that each other has. But it's a really fun book. It's such a beautiful like story, and you can tell there's so much poured into it, and it's so deep. There's so much that I missed, I know. Literally by the time I put it down, I was already ready to pick it back up and do a reread, so I'm so excited for that. But I definitely want to annotate it next time and like trying to figure out all the themes and stuff. I don't think I could tell you all the themes, but it definitely has lovely themes on loneliness and purpose, and it's a beautiful story. It kind of has kind of dark academia vibes as well at times, which is really nice. I also loved the tone. It was so funny. I was literally laughing out loud at points because Piranesi's hilarious. I mean, at the beginning, this is not really a spoiler because it's like the first thing that happens, but he has a journal and he is like cataloging everything. And the first thing he does is he catalogs like all the people, and so it's him, the other, and then he has like he knows there's like a skeleton, so he catalogs that. But and then the other thing he catalogs is the reader. He's like, someone's going to read these one day, so that's the next person. But he calls the other because he's the only other person. Like that alone is just so funny, and his inner monologue is hilarious. I love reading like everything is told as his journals, and it's just so much fun. It really reminded me of S by J.J. Abrams, which I read last year and loved. That was such a fun book, and this is very similar. It's kind of you get dropped in and you don't know what's happening, and the character doesn't know what's happening, and they're just kind of trying to get through life and do their thing. And it was an amazing book, so I would highly recommend it. All right, so those are all the books I read. 3 of them were from my physical TBR. I did already unhaul Funny Story. I absolutely will not be unhauling Piranesi. I love this. It's staying on my shelves forever. The Marlow Motor Club, I'm going to give to my grandfather, so it's kind of a soft unhaul because I just know he'll love it, and he'll probably keep it. But I definitely don't think I need to own it, and I definitely am not going to get the rest of them because they're expensive. And actually, I probably would reread these, but my library has them all, so I don't think I need the physical copies. And quite frankly, I'm shallow when it comes to books, and I judge them by the covers, and this is the best cover in the series. So, that's that. And then I didn't read Heart So Fierce and Broken physically, but I hadn't unhauled the first in that series because I didn't know if I wanted to like buy the rest of the series if I really liked it, but I did not, so that got unhauled immediately. So that's 2 books off my shelves and 3 books off my physical TBR, which was fantastic. So yeah, made some good progress. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please let me know your thoughts on these books in the comments below, and if you guys have any recommendations for things you think I'll enjoy based on these, please let me know. I'm all ears. And yeah, hope to see you guys in another video soon. Bye!